crazy out here, y'all. Stay focused. Let's go, KD. Take a look around you, look to find your way, babe. Yeah, take a look around you, look to find your way, babe.
Yeah, I ain't talk is talk, and move is move. When I come in, bitch, I change the rule. Got things to do, I done pay my dues. But where was you? Nigga, where was you? I said take a look around you, nigga, find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. I said take a look around you, nigga, find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. Hey, you the one that say that. You and me go way back. When this whole thing over, I'ma send my invoice payday. You don't wanna say that. You don't want this payback. I keep my composure, this my kingdom, nigga, stay back. We had a couple of moments, you had a choice, nigga, own it. Your real colors, they showing. I'm real, nigga, I'm focused. When I come around, I'm fly with it. Stay moving, do buy with it. New sound, just vibe with it. Same truth and we die with it. I see it like it's an obstacle. I never sit on the fence. Nothing to me is impossible. Music of means to the end. Most of the shit is illogical. All of y'all niggas depend on what they pretend. Just think what you had, stop looking at trends. You wearing your heart like it's topical.
Clearly now, the pain is gone, the fame is on, and they play my songs. Yeah, it's real. Yeah, it's real.
Yeah, I ain't talk is talk, and move is move. When I come in, bitch, I change the rule. Got things to do, I done pay my dues. But where was you? Nigga, where was you? I said take a look around you, nigga, find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. I said take a look around you, nigga, find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. New era, I got y'all. Real game, we pop off, no knockoffs. Open eyes, we watch out. Mobilize, won't cop out. COVID-19 cops out, don't flop now. Open skies, we fly now. New agenda, they try now. Most y'all getting real scared of the headlines, we find out. End game getting real near. If you don't know, you behind now. Behind the times, government hide behind the lines. Most brands trying to monetize. All of us have to stay inside, don't socialize. Talk is talk, and move is move. When I come in, bitch, I change the rule. Got things to do, I done pay my dues. But where was you? Nigga, where was you? I said take a look around you, nigga, find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. I said take a look around you, nigga, find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. Find your way, babe.
That's the bed that you made, that's the bed that you made, yeah. Yeah, bed that you made, that's the bed that you made.
Aye, Katie, let's go.
All hell King Darius.
That's the bed that you made, that's the bed that you made. That's the bed that you laid, that's the bed that you laid. What kind of game is you playing? We go hard in the paint, we go hard in the paint, yeah. What the fuck is you saying? I only go where they pay. What kind of game is you playing?
Yeah, whoa, my shit is relevant. On topic, my melanin is popping. I'm taking skeletons on closets and making new deposits. I'm in my element, no ollies. These children popping mollies. I'm so intelligent, my honesty turned into philosophy. I go hard in the paint, the harder I play. Nigga, I'm like Harden on James, a problem to face. I don't wear my heart on my sleeve, just look in my eyes. Nigga, you can do what you need, I do what is right. I don't fucking want what you have, just look at your life. Nothing about it sacred to me, it's out of my sight. That just means it's out of my mind, it's not worth the fight. Nigga, yeah, I'm out of my mind, I'm out of my mind. Hey, you did what you did.
Yeah, you do what you did.
Give a fuck about intentions.
Don't give a fuck about intentions.
You can watch what I do.
You can watch what I do.
Just stay the fuck out my mentions.
Stay the fuck out my mentions. That's the bed that you made, that's the bed that you made. That's the bed that you laid, that's the bed that you laid. What kind of game is you playing? We go hard in the paint, yeah. What the fuck is you saying? I only go where they pay. What kind of game is you playing? We go hard in the paint, yeah. That's the bed that you made, that's the bed that you made. That's the bed that you laid. What kind of game is you playing? We go hard in the paint, yeah.
make this money, it comes out on tap. Trying to stay private, but I got them groupies. On me in private, but don't get all choosy. Bust out the bubble and in with the new me. FTLOG on the top with the blue G's. Y'all got the diamonds and I got the rubies. I got the rubies, I got the rubies. She call me Captain, but I got no cap. I make this money, it comes out on tap. Trying to stay humble, but I get real moody. Try not to stumble, but she a real cutie. Bust out the bubble and in with the newbie. FTLOG on the top with the blue G's. Y'all got the diamonds and I got the rubies. I got the rubies, I got the rubies.
Swole Normuth.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing, 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 testicles, testicles. Welcome everyone to episode 3191 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular Swolecast, Beardcast, Broadcast, Gamecast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Sleecast, Slaycast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. What's going on, beaches, booshes? Bustas, hustles, and your hoes. It's your boy Papa Swolio back with another episode. In today's episode, the Beescast is brought to you, is powered, is sponsored by Everest and K2, flexing on all you beesh.
Fucking Catalina wine mixer.
It's the fucking Catalina wine mixer.
It's the fucking Catalina wine mixer.
What's going on, fam? Welcome to the show. Welcome to 3191. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. A reminder that yesterday's episode is only available on Rumble and YouTube because it was so long. We got cut off halfway or 2/3 of the way through. But we did the RFK confirmation hearing. It was long, very long, very, very long.
Because
That's what she said. So those of you that were here, hope you enjoyed it. I think there's a couple other ones today. I think Kash Patel and Tulsi Gabbard. Not doing that again. Not doing like 5-hour live stream again on those. And I think they're at 9:30 and 10. I think it's one starting now. I think one starting at 10. But kind of a weird scheduling. I feel like they want no one to watch them because those are really, really, really important. Even though RFKs is important, these are extremely important. So the deep state doesn't want these people to be confirmed. So I feel like they're stacking them at the end of the week Thursday. They're going to try to like shove this through to the weekend and shove it under the rug. So make sure you check them out at your leisure. But we're going to get into our episode today. We're going to jump into some Swole fan posts and we're getting some questions. We'll get into some balls deep, and then we're going to bounce. Tomorrow, we also have an overtime segment after the live stream, so make sure you subscribe. Head on over to swolenormusx.com and join the fam today. Today's Swole card is sick fucking gains. And, you know, I mean, is there another kind? That's my question. Sick fucking gains is the hashtag. That's the Swole card. We'll give that away at the end of today's episode, but I pose the question to you, is there another kind of gains? And the answer is no. If you're going to make gains, you are making sick fucking gains. And that's just all there is to it. So like it or leave it, but it's time to make SFG. So drop that hashtag in the comments down below. We'll give away that Swole card at the end of today's episode. Now let's get on into that tip. Babe, just an inch. It's cold outside. Ooh, that coffee is hot. My goodness. All right, let's get into a couple more accountability texts from earlier this week. Of course, we didn't cover them yesterday. These were going to be covered yesterday, but these are powered by Swole Text. So let's get into it. First one is from Aaron. And Aaron says, for this week, bring this up on the screen. For this week, I'm going to focus on maintaining my nightly routine of beginning to wind down at least 1 hour before bed by doing my yoga. Shameless plug for the bedtime yoga number 3 class, which is my go to the fucking yoga studio playlist. Ooh, I like that. I'll adjust the timing as needed as I have a few events this week and will either have to do my night yoga earlier or make sure I get some extra stretching done before bed if it gets to be later than normal. I'll also be making sure to stop all social media and most socializing in that same time frame by putting my phone on airplane mode from the hour before bed until I wake up the next morning. So far, airplane mode has been pretty helpful. And I agree with that. It's really good for you. It's really good to not have a phone that's pumping Bluetooth or Wi-Fi or 5G LTE through your brain. I know some of you have emergencies, you have kids, there might be reasons why you need to have access to your phone, but you can also not keep it right next to your bed. And you can also have, I'm sure, I don't use these settings, but I'm sure there's certain settings where you could have everything else kind of not go through. You could have certain emergency people that if you got calls from these numbers that they would go through this, that, and the other. Or maybe you have an emergency phone that's the number that, and you have maybe a flip phone or something. I don't know. There's different options to do it. I do understand some of you, but at least don't put it right by your head. Don't make it so you're staring at your screen in blue light late at night. You want to make sure that you are keeping these kinds of things away and out of your bedroom as much as possible. So Aaron, that's a really good choice. If you have any other suggestions, people that have other certain habits based on your phone, drop in the comments down below. I do understand not everyone can just throw it in airplane mode and shut off the world, but you want to as much as possible. Dylan says, I need to prioritize mindfulness. I've been slipping, but it's time to stop making excuses and step up. From now on, I'm starting and ending my day with mindfulness practice. First thing in the morning, mindfulness. Last thing before bed, mindfulness. I'm committing to 2 5-minute sessions every day this week. Simple and manageable. Let's fucking go. Dylan, you son of a bitch. Now that's great. This is what I always say. You do not have to meditate for hours. I think people assume meditation is, you need to get some music. You need to sit there for a couple days like a monk. You do not have to. 5 minutes, more frequently, shorter periods of meditation, more frequently, will actually allow you to tap into that more often. You know, whether you're in traffic, whether you're in line somewhere, or you're frustrated at work, you can tap into that meditative state, or at least that presence. You can let some of these things go. And the more you practice tapping into that, even just for 5 minutes, you can actually make this more a part of who you are and how you handle situations and how you tap into your presence of mind before being reactive automatically. So I recommend even starting with just 5 minutes once a day. But like Dylan says, 5 minutes twice a day is often going to be better. I shouldn't say better. Everyone's going to be different. But I would say 5 minutes twice a day is likely going to be more effective, if you can pull it off, than 10 minutes once a day. But you can do 10 minutes once a day. There's nothing wrong with that. In other words, you have different options. You could also try less and more frequent, this, that, and the other. So that's a great way to do it. Before the day starts, before the day concludes, it's a great way to unpack some stuff and relax yourself before sleep. Give yourself a nice present state of mind in the morning. That's good stuff, Dylan. Cerny says, been taking the magnesium glycinate. I've been sleeping like a baby. No more restless legs. It's like heaven. Nice, Cerny. And Cerny's excited because she's no longer taking 5 grams of magnesium before bed. So that's fantastic. Aww. Waking up and not running right to the bathroom, eh, Cerny? Good stuff. All right, let's get into a couple questions. We're not going to take any live on Instagram today because I have an appointment. So we're going to not like belabor some of the questions. But if you have live ones on Rumble and YouTube, we'll jump into those. You could drop in the comments down below. Hashtag AskPapaSwole. Let's get into the first one from Instagram. Again, if you have questions or comments, hashtag APS, drop in the comments and we'll get to them right now. First one from Instagram stories. This one's from Black Ice 95. What's the best way to gain abs? There was a famous martial artist. His name was Mr. Miyagi, and he says, and I quote, Daniel-san, shut your fucking mouth. And that's how you get abs. You put the fork down. You stop eating garbage. Now, of course, I'm not saying starve yourself, but if you're building muscle, you're progressively overloading your workouts, you're eating plenty of protein, you're getting quality sleep. So you want your training and your nutrition to be on point, of course. Even if you're eating quality foods, if you're eating in excess, you're going to put on extra body fat. So it comes down to the quality of the foods first. Then you want to make sure you are. And usually that's going to solve the issue of overeating. But of course, getting rid of all the vegetable and seed oils and ultra processed foods. Very, very, very important. And having more lean mass, aka bone density and muscle mass, is going to improve your metabolism and your insulin sensitivity. So you're going to have less of an issue from when you're eating carbohydrates. You're going to have less of an issue with storage of excessive body fat. You still can put on body fat, but you're going to have to be eating a lot more and actively eating in excess. So again, when we talk about bulking, aka building muscle, you don't have to dirty bulk, eat crap. You don't have to be in a crazy surplus. You could be around like a maintenance or slightly above. And that might put on a little body fat with your muscle, but you want to make sure you're having enough protein and calories for your training and for your muscle repair. Excellent. All right, we got one from Navarro Morafabian. Similar vein, Papa Swole, how can I lose my belly? Any practical tips for belly fat? Same thing I just said. So I'm not even going to repeat it, but same thing. A lot of people have this issue, and it's because their hormones are jacked up. They're not eating the right foods. Their lifestyle sucks. And I don't want to have to say that you have to change every aspect of your lifestyle to see your abs. Everyone's a little bit different. Everyone's a little bit different with their genetics and what their habits already are. So you might not even be plugged in and thinking about it, and you might have abs. You might just be coincidentally not eating in a caloric surplus. You might just not really store a lot of fat around your midsection as much as everywhere else. Some people, just based on their normal habits, will have tendencies to store more body fat, this, that, and the other. Of course, if your parents are fat and you've been eating garbage your whole life, you might have a little bit more of an issue with fat retention. So some people have to be a little bit more strict, aka, depends on what you call strict, but some people might have to be a little bit more focused on it than others. So practical tips, go to swolenormousx.com and download the 7 pillars and start there. Make sure that your foundations are locked in, Navarro, before you start looking for some magic solution, because the practical tips, like you said, that's actually how you get results. It's the 7 pillars are all about practicality. So really important. Robert, first live stream, usually watch on Spotify afterwards. Hashtag sick fucking games. Well, welcome to the live stream, Robert. Yeah. We got a good question. Lavash on Rumble. Papa Swolio, do you think grass-fed cows get made fun of by the regular cows like how we make fun of vegans? Ooh, emotional damage.
Emotional damage.
You mean because they're vegans? I don't think so, because they're the ones that are normal. I think they're making fun of the cows that are sucking down corn and soy and all that garbage, standing in their own shit. I think the grass-fed cows they're the jocks. The grass-fed cows are the ones that are healthy, they're in good shape, and they're making fun of the nerds eating the corn and soy. That's what I think. It's like the classic, you're at the water fountain at work, or the water dispenser. The water cooler talk. They're over there like, so hey, how was it? It reminds me of like a Far Side comic. How's that corn and soy treating you, fatty? They're probably making fun of the fat cows. John Papasoli, has there been anything definitive on RFK Jr.'s hearing? I delved into it last night, this morning, can't find anything. I don't know if they made the vote yet. I don't know if the vote has gone through yet. I agree. I don't know when that actually happens. And honestly, I think they make it more obscure. That way people can't really figure it out unless they're going to do it Friday night going into the weekend. I don't think it's an accident, by the way, that his hearing was on Wednesday and Cash and Tulsi's are today. They do it towards the end of the week, and then whatever things happen. I've heard something about they wanted to do Tulsi's vote in secret, which I think should be illegal. You know, we pay for these people to be in office. The taxpayers fund, you know, these senators and so on and so forth. So we have a right to know exactly who voted and who voted when and this, that, and the other. But I feel like they do this stuff at the end of the week and they slam it together that way. It gets less publicity or pushback because people, quote unquote, are going to forget over the weekend, which I don't think is the case with this. This is very important for people that voted for Trump. So Mess 41, what's the risk of having too much magnesium? I did blood work recently and my magnesium was above the top range. They told me long-term, it could be a sign of not being able to process it. Well, there's different types of magnesium. I'm not sure what the body measurements, I'm not sure what they're actually measuring. And blood work, it depends on when you're taking it, I would say, because blood work is just a snapshot. They're not following you throughout the day, every day. So I'm not sure how that fluctuates. Most people are severely deficient in magnesium, the vast majority. So I'm not sure if you're taking any, or are you taking any magnesium, or what your nutrition is like. Master Gina, Papa Solio, are strength fluctuations normal in a regular training program? Most times strength goes up, but sometimes some exercise regress. Yeah, it's normal. You're not going to be progressively overloaded. You're not always going to be able to add weight or add reps. Yesterday for a couple exercise, I added a little bit of weight and I got one less rep, but that's because I added weight. So I could have added a little bit less. Maybe I should have tried to go for an extra rep with the previous weight. But if it's something for certain body parts, it could be maybe the exercise selection. It could be the order of the exercises. If you're changing them, remember whatever you train earlier in your session, you're going to be the most fresh for. So if you're training something last and you want to bring that up, move it earlier in your workout. But this is not something that's linear, but if you're training and doing something like maximum swole and you're focused on the progressive overload and you're focusing on that primarily, that's going to give you the most accurate feedback as to whether or not you're building muscle. So what I would say is if certain exercises you didn't add weight, you just kind of didn't hit the reps you did before, okay, try it again the next time. It doesn't mean you're not building muscle. It doesn't mean you're not making progress. It could just be a bump in the road. So it's not going to be a smooth sailing across the board, but it's something that you want to flag and keep an eye on and maybe prioritize those movements earlier. So yeah, it happens. It happens. And what was weird is actually for me, the last few times I've done the single arm preacher curl machine, I've gotten the same reps, left arm, right arm. And then yesterday, left arm, I got 4 reps and the right arm, I got 6. So they were always like 5, 5, 5, 5. So I got right arm's my dominant arm. So I got 2 less reps on my left side. So I'm like, that was weird. All of a sudden out of nowhere. So I'll kind of keep an eye on that and see how that goes. So, you know, anytime you have an anomaly, anytime you have something that might be certain movements, it could be. And understand that depending on your split, depending on your volume, certain body parts, same thing with your system, depending on how many sets you're total doing that your body has to recover from, some body parts are going to recover faster than others. It could also be the exercise selection, I would say. It could also be the exercise selection. So let's say for a certain body part, you're using a more taxing exercise. You're training in the lengthened position, whatever it is, it's just more fatiguing or it's more overload. Maybe you're not recovering if you're training every other day. Maybe you're not training, or maybe that muscle isn't really recovering enough because of the exercise selection. But I would just keep an eye on it. And then if you want to get into more details sometime, but you're not always going to see constant improvements. Sometimes you just don't have it one day and it's like, you didn't get great sleep, or maybe your nutrition wasn't as good as you thought it was, or whatever. And sometimes you just don't hit those numbers. It's frustrating. It's frustrating, but if it's just kind of out of nowhere or it's a constant thing. If it's more, hey, I'm hitting a wall, it's going down, then that's a sign that maybe you're overtraining, you're under recovering. You got to look at your nutrition. Maybe you're losing weight. Maybe you're not eating enough food. So that could be a concern. Just keep that in mind. In other words, it's data. So if you're tracking it, then you can know what's happening. And if it persists, you can look and see, okay, what's happening? How come some lifts are going up? How come other ones are going down? Maybe I should prioritize those first. Maybe I need to change my split or my exercise selection a little bit. You don't really want regression. You just might not get the same reps you did last time. You don't want to have to drop weight tremendously. Annie says, I was listening to a psychologist who was previously a monk recently. He said that meditating more than 20 minutes a day is detrimental to your mental health. More than 20 minutes a day is detrimental? How so? You gotta explain that a little bit more. I mean, I personally wouldn't do that much just because I got shit to do. You definitely don't need to. And some people, just 10 minutes. Again, practicing brain gains is something that's a tool that can help you throughout the day, even if you're not sitting down for some dedicated meditation. You can kind of tap into that a little bit more frequently. So if you're sitting down to do 5 minutes, it's really your ability to shift and get into a 5-minute peaceful situation. And really, it's about finding peace inside yourself. So the more you are able to, hey, it's busy, it's hectic, let me sit down for 5 minutes. The more you're able to, in traffic when you're stressed or your boss says something that is retarded, you can kind of tap into that a little bit, even for 10 seconds, get present and move on. So it just kind of gives you those coats of paint so you're able to get into that state a little bit quicker. Even for 5 or 10 seconds, it's not taking a couple deep breaths. It's not the same as doing a 5-minute or 10-minute meditation, but you can see how practicing, it's really about the intent to get into that mindset. That's the most important. Hashtag sick fucking gains. Drop that in the comments down below. And of course, a lot of you just tuning into the show right now are thinking, I mean, is there another kind? I don't think so. I don't think there's another type of sick fucking gains. I mean, I don't think there's another type of gains than sick fucking gains, to be honest. I don't see how more than 20 minutes is detrimental. But, you know. Yeah, no. Second Gen Master on YouTube's Papa Swole. Would it be wise to say on chest day 1 week, start with flat bench, then next week start with incline bench? Well, I would ask you, why are you only training once a week for chest? In my opinion, body parts should be hit 2 to 3 times a week. High intensity, lower volume. Frequency is important. So that I would put out there first. Are you only training it once a week? And yes, you're not, I mean, it's not that much mixing it up, because if you are, incline doesn't hit the upper chest more. It just hits the lower chest less, if that makes sense. So if you're doing flat bench, you're still going to get your upper clavicular pec. And there's certain flat bench. I have a couple different flat bench machines, and I have a couple that when you have the neutral handle, I have a great old school Magnum biangular flat press, and it's great. The arm angles are down low. You're getting a lot of upper pec as well, but you're also getting the sternal pec. If you do an incline press, you're still going to get sternal pec activation. It's just going to target that less, just because of the angle. You'll get more anterior delt and clavicular pec. And for a lot of you, if you don't have a good incline machine, there's a lot of shoulder press machines out there that you can lean back on a little bit and kind of make a makeshift incline press. You can get a lot of clavicular activation with a shoulder press too. So this comes down to training program redundancy. So for me, if I'm doing an incline press, I'm generally not going to do any kind of shoulder overhead pressing. There's no need on that day, because I'm doing full body, so I'm doing every other day. There's no need for me on my upper incline day to also hit an overhead press. I might do either a posterior deltoid work, or I'll do a middle deltoid, just because you're still going to get some anterior and you're going to get some middle deltoid when you're doing incline pressing. It could just be redundant. So you have to really look at your overall program. There's nothing wrong with doing incline bench or an incline machine and a shoulder press. It's just very, very close. So that could be something in your programming that you separate. That way you don't have redundancy. That's one of the most important things when it comes to maximum swole is that redundancy. You don't want to do exercises that are going to hit the same muscles just because it's more fatiguing, and you want to make sure that you're maximizing the breadth of what you're training. So in my opinion, if you're doing an overhead press, I would do a flat press, or I would do a pec fly or a flat press if I was pairing it up with an overhead press, just because I'm going to be getting more anterior deltoid with an incline press. That's just my personal take on it, but you can play around with it. It also depends on what you're prioritizing. If your shoulders are something you're prioritizing, you might even start you might even start upper body with overhead pressing. That might be your first movement rather than chest. So there's no reason why you have to start an upper session with chest unless you're trying to focus on your chest. Remember, whatever you train in your workout first, whatever exercise you do first, especially the first one, first, second, third, those where you're getting the most stimulus, where you're the most fresh, you just kind of prepared, you got loose, you did your warm-up set, like you're ready to go. That's when you're going to have the most stimulus. So make sure you're putting those movements first. And you could also stack exercises that don't take a lot of, that aren't physiologically demanding. So if you want to bring up your biceps, you could do your preacher curls before you do your chest pressing, because training your biceps isn't going to take much away from your chest. So again, it comes down to what you're prioritizing. So that matters too. Exercise selection is very important for fatigue. It's very important for the programming. It's very important for what you're trying to focus on. And there's a lot of different ways to do it. And there's no right way to do it. It really depends on what's right for you. And that's why you have to test. Some of you might really like doing biceps before chest. Okay, Young Wong. I like him already. Do you go to the gym 7 days a week? Well, I have a gym at my house, so technically I wake up in the gym. I eat in the gym. I fucking sleep in the gym. That's what I'm talking about.
He's on fire! Boom shakalaka!
I am the gym. The gym comes to me. No, I don't train intensely 7 days a week. So currently I'm doing every other day. So that's like 3.5 times a week. So some weeks, if you're doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, that's technically 4. And the next week is going to be Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. It's technically 3. But remember, you don't have to be, it's not about being stuck on that 7-day cycle. I talk about this a lot, and I'll continue to. All the programs in Swolenormous X, they're all day 1, day 2. It's just to let you guys know, hey, you take a day off here, or you do recovery stuff on these days. You don't train intensely on these days. You train intensely here. You don't have to go off a 7-day cycle. You can go off an 8 or 9 day rotation. Again, it's about how frequently you're training the muscles in a period of time. So are you training it every 2 days, every 3 days, every 4 days, every other day? How often are you hitting body parts? And generally you want to hit them more frequently than less frequently. But again, the volume, you want the intensity to be high. The volume is going to determine how quickly you're going to be able to recover. So if you're doing full body, 1 all out set per body part, you can train the same body parts likely in 2 days. You could train it in 48 hours, Monday, Wednesday. Maybe that's too much for you and you can't do that. So maybe Monday, Thursday you can do. Maybe you like doing Monday, Tuesday on, upper, lower, 1 day off, upper, lower. Some people like doing upper, lower, rest. Some people like doing 2 on, 2 off. It really doesn't matter as long as you are progressively overloading. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. I think certain methods will probably in general be better than others. I don't want to say there's the right way, but there are definitely, if you're comparing situations, there can be a better way, if you understand that. So when someone says, what's the best split? There is no best split. But if you compare these, hey, what's the best for my situation? Here are 2 splits. Well, this one's a lot better because of A, B, X, Y, and Z. So just because there might not be a best split, it doesn't mean there isn't a better one that you can do. Getting very philosophical here. All right, we got a couple more from Instagram stories. Last chance on Rumble and YouTube to drop your questions in the comments. Kamak. Okay. What do you do on your rest days if you're feeling restless? Is this a riddle? I feel like that's a riddle. I feel like Biden's going to come out of the closet and be like,
Come on, man.
Riddle me this. If you're feeling restless, here's my opinion on this. If you're training intensely and you're training properly, you're totally cool not lifting heavy fucking weights on a recovery day. I don't like using the word rest day. Go for a walk, do some yoga, do some dead hang, swing some clubs, keep it low intensity. I trained really hard yesterday and I feel it kind of a little bit all over my body. I have no desire to train intensely today because it's also systemic. It's not just my muscles. You don't have to be sore to build muscle. I am totally cool not lifting intensely today. So I would go for a walk, dude. Do some other kinds of activities. But remember, if your goal, and I always come back to this, if your goal is to build muscle, then you want to do the things that are going to help you build muscle. How do you build muscle? Progressive overload. So the last thing you want to do on a recovery day, aka a rest day, aka a low intensity, non-intense training day, is to exhaust yourself so that when you come back to the gym tomorrow or the next day, you're not wiped out. So people on their quote rest day, they'll do a ton of intense cardio and then wonder why they're not building muscle and wonder why they're hitting a plateau and wonder why they're not getting stronger. Yeah, because you're exhausting yourself when you should be repairing. Most people overtrain. Most people overtrain and undertrain. You probably thought I was going to say overtrain and under recover. That's also true. But most people undertrain. They don't train intensely enough. And they train too often. They do a lot of junk volume. They're training frequently and they're doing way too much. They're not training intensely enough and they're doing too much of it. Alessotto. Siete. Papa Swole, do you go running? Nope. If you do, how much do you run? Nope. I don't speak Spanish, so I don't know what that cardio stuff is. Now, I don't go running. I'll go walking. I've done running. I've done long distance running. I used to be lifting heavy weights and I used to win 10K trail runs like in the woods. So I used to, and that's what, 6.1 miles. I used to win those events. So I used to do a lot of that stuff. And guess what? I got hurt a lot because I was doing a lot of different things. I was doing a lot of intense lifting and I was doing a lot of intense sprinting and, trail running. And I ran in Vibrams in the trails. So I was one of those lunatics, like a Native American running through the fucking woods, just a Native American bear. Trust me, ladies, you would choose the bear if you saw Papa Swole running towards you. Yeah, you'd choose the fucking bear. You wouldn't survive me. So anyway, I don't do long distance running, but I will say that you can do sprinting. Sprinting's fantastic. Sled work, explosive work is great. So nothing wrong with that kind of movement, but long distance running, I just don't think is worthwhile when you compare it to sprints like sprinting or hill sprints or something like high intensity interval type. I prefer that if I was going to do it. Hubert on YouTube's flowing any yoga program or just moving from one position to the other. I don't know what that question is. Flowing any yoga program or just moving from one position to the other. Well, yoga is you're moving from one position to another. There's different types of yoga. Have you checked out our yoga studio? If you want to, I don't know if it's Uber or it's Hubert, but check out the Swolenormous app. You can start your 7-day free trial over there and you can check out the yoga studio. So we have hundreds and hundreds we have like 400 or 500 yoga classes. And we have yoga series. We have a lot of different things. We have Swolga. We have a lot of different options. So if you're interested in learning about different types of yoga, we have Vinyasa, Ashtanga, Yin. We got sound healing. We have block and strap and prop classes. We have, level 1, level 2, level 3, prenatal, postnatal, kids yoga, chair yoga, starter classes. We have so much. Recovery flows. We have a lot of stuff. There's a lot of different types of yoga. So if you've ever tried a yoga class before and I didn't like it, trust me, it could have been the instructor. There's so many different types of yoga. Don't write it all off just because of one thing you've tried. Jan or Juan Fernandez. John, Papa Swole, with me having decades of training behind me, will I eventually earn some mass on maximum swole or just strength? I'd love more size. However long it takes is fine with me. Absolutely. You're not going to build muscle without strength. I'm not sure what you were trying to, I kind of know what you were saying, but you're not going to build muscle without getting stronger. When you see some of these bodybuilders, and they're jacked and they might be lifting 25-pound dumbbells for something, they're not doing 5 reps. They're doing a lot of reps. They're doing a lot of sets. Remember, they're taking anabolic steroids. A lot of them overtrain chronically, but they're also taking a lot of anabolic steroids that it absolutely does change the body's physiology and how the body will react to training. So even though people that are taking this kind of stuff would still benefit from doing higher intensity, lower volume training, just because it's better for the body, they're generally going to be recovering faster and, classically just doing more than what we talk about in maximum swole. But you're not going to be building size without strength. And the best part about maximum swole is that it focuses on you building strength and making the most out of your training and progressive overload. So it focuses the most specifically on the foundational principle of how you build muscle without the additional fatigue. And this is more advanced. It's not for beginners. It really isn't, because if you are a beginner, you're not able to go to that kind of proximity up to and including failure. You're not able to hit that with proper form. You just don't have the tendon strength, the ligament strength. You don't have the coordination. And understand that as you get stronger through the years, and as you get older, you're able to push and move so much more weight that it's much more exhausting on their body. The kind of volume that you might have trained with when you were 20 or 30, it's just, you're not able to handle it because you're lifting so much more weight. Yes, the recovery gets more challenging as you get older, but it just wears a lot more. So you can't get away with some of the stupid stuff that you did when you were younger. And we all know that. Varying amounts of stupidity, not just with training. So it's very important that you understand how muscle is built, and that progressive overload is that foundational principle. So if you're progressively overloading, you're going to be building muscle. And the last question, which we're not going to answer because we just did, how to improve strength. So we had a lot of questions that kind of crossed over progressive overload. All right, fam. Thanks for the questions. A reminder that in just a few days, that's like, 9 days? P3S13 will be live.
Oh, you can because
SwoleNormousX.com/signature. Make sure that you are ready for that 24-hour sale. Only available for 24 hours on February 8th. SwoleNormousX.com/signature. We'll talk a lot about that. The 13th release of the world famous Signature series. Nick says, isn't it ironic that the left claims hormone replacement therapy and puberty blockers do not cause permanent damage when the proof of the effects of hormones are evident in bodybuilding? Yeah, I mean, many different hormones, of course. They're not all the same. Look, there's so many. I'm not an expert in any of that, but a steroid is not a steroid in the sense that they're not all the same. We talk about anabolic steroids. When people just say, oh, he's taking steroids, anabolic steroids. And there's a lot of different kinds. There's a lot of different kinds of testosterone. There's testosterone that lasts longer in the body, shorter in the body. There's like so many different compounds. Now there's peptides and all this different stuff. There's a lot of different stuff people use. And of course, when it comes to puberty blockers, there's a lot of different hormones are just chemical messengers that create an effect inside the body. So you can have all sorts of different compounds and things that will do this, but not that. This does this and that. Well, some people want this and that, but they don't want the side effect of this. So they take another one to affect. And then people end up taking 10, 20 different things, some for the side effects, some for whatever. There's a lot of different types of anabolics and so on. But yeah, I mean, to say that taking puberty blockers doesn't cause damages, I mean, the stupidity, the ignorance, the just evil that comes in that statement is just mind blowing. They're just trying to fuck kids. That's all it is. They're just trying. Look, it sounds gross because it is. It's disgusting. It's evil. It's just absolutely the base level, just morally reprehensible. They want to bang kids. If children can consent to mutilating their body, if a child can decide to take hormone blockers, or if a child can decide if they're a boy or a girl and they can cut their parts off, then the next step is to consent to sex. That's why there's a lot of sex trafficking. That's why there's all these, teachers that are molesting kids, and there's a lot of pedophiles out there. So that's just the next step. It's that slippery slope. If a child can make those kinds of life-changing choices, then why can't a child consent? And that's the next phase. That's why you're seeing it push. You're seeing this continuously. That's why, right, Trump and Tom Homan, that they're trying to find the 300,000 sex trafficked kids that have come across the border. Like, it's disgusting. Epstein's Island, all those things, right? Those are still under wraps. The Catholic Church. People have been banging kids for a long time, and it's disgusting. So there's a lot of incest. There's a lot of, kids that get assaulted by family members and all that kind of stuff. So this has been pervasive for millennia, and that's definitely the direction. That's what's desired to happen. So if kids can consent to that, then they can remove the age of consent. Why can't kids consent to sexual? I mean, why do you think they get off doing strip teases and stuff in front of kids and drag queens? This is a lot of pedophilia. This is a lot of sick stuff. Straight up. Let's go balls deep. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. That's deep. All right, let's get into it. Pick a number 1, 2, or 3. I don't know if you guys saw this. We'll start with this story first. It's from the New York Magazine. I don't know if you guys saw this cover where they're saying, like, there's no white people around X, Y, and Z. Check this out. This is a TikTok video of some guy who I think he said he threw the party. But check out this scandal. This is pretty gnarly. All right. So you'll see how the left tries to perpetuate racism that doesn't exist. Check this out.
This might be the biggest media scandal in a decade. So for inauguration weekend, I threw one of the most highly covered inauguration parties of the entire weekend. I mean, Rolling Stone did a piece about it, Wire did a piece about it, Daily Mail did a piece about it. Everybody was talking about this party, and rightfully so. It was a good-ass time, and I threw it with my friend Raquel DeBono. Now, what's interesting about this story that dropped on Monday is that they wanted everyone to believe that everyone in attendance was white. And so, because of that, they didn't mention that I threw the party. They didn't mention that I was at the party. But even worse, they cropped out all the black people who were at the party. Oh, don't believe me? Just look at this.
Look at that.
Where was that in the original photo? Or him? Or him? Or him? Nowhere to be found. I wonder why. The media is so desperate to paint Trump supporters as racist, they literally erased black people from this party to try to spread that narrative.
Does he work for PragerU? Yeah, look at that picture. Look at that picture. So he zooms out. Zoom out on the picture, and all you see is right after the crop are all the black people. Why is this important? Why isn't it important? It's important to expose the liberal racist media that they keep on trying to race bait people. They're liars, they're grifters, and this is why Trump won. So that's why it's important, because it hasn't stopped. And this is what I've been saying. They're not going to go back. They're not going to moderate. They're not going to pull back. They're going to continue to keep on pushing and pretending like, oh, the cruel kids table. Everyone here is a celebration. Why is everyone white? And they're wearing tuxedos. You see some beautiful blonde, girls, and it's all white people there. So in other words, the framing. These liberals, they're so progressive. They're so welcoming. No, they're not. They're racists. They're just trying to sow hate. So the sick thing is, if they just posted the picture and they showed like Trump wins, blah, blah. Okay, that's not a story. But they say the cruel kids table. Look at the picture though. When you go back to the beginning, look at this cover. It looks like, why is everyone white? Oh my God, white people. Only the young right, they're all white. Where are the black people? They're so racist. Oh, Trump hates black people. They just hate other people. They're so misogynistic and blah, blah, blah. Then you zoom out a little bit. And literally off to the left are literally on the line of where that frame cuts. Look, you can see the black dude's hand next to the T and the cruel kids. Look at the left. Look at the left on the T. I can't zoom in. Look at that hand. The black guy's hand is there. Not to mention the guy who threw the party is black. Fine. We don't care, right? People that have common sense and are decent, I don't care what color your skin is. Are you a retard or not? If you're not retarded, let's go. But look at this, right? Zoom out again. The black guy's hand was right there and there and there. So they just cropped out the black people. They cropped out the black. How sick is that? It's insane. It's insane. Okay, do we pick a number? Let's see. Giovanni, 69. Number 2. This is called non-binary person. Let's fucking go.
Hi, my name is Karen, and my pronouns are they, them, and I'm a licensed psychotherapist in the states of Colorado and Washington. And something that I have been processing a lot lately is what it has felt like in the last week or so to be a non-binary person. I've been thinking a lot about the impacts of the executive order that is, attempting to say there's only 2 sexes. And
there are?
It really just actually feels like it was written by people who haven't passed 7th grade science, which is also a concern in its own.
I think it's written by people who have only passed 3rd grade science. There's only men and women. Non-binary is not a thing. It's one thing if you say you're the opposite, but the non-binary stuff is the biggest mental illness grift. I'm neither. Please, stop. Stop. If you're a girl and you want to wear jeans and a baggy shirt, you want to dress like a skateboarder or something like that, okay. No one cares. You're still a woman. Still a girl. Still female. If you're a dude and you want to wear like tight jeans and I don't know. I'm in Florida. A lot of gay people down here. It's like, okay, you're still a dude. You're still a guy. You're still male.
But also the removal of the option to have an X-gender marker on a new or a renewed passport.
Based.
I've been hearing people kind of on a couple different sides of saying, I don't need the government to validate who I am. It doesn't matter to me. And I've heard some people processing their sadness around how this has felt really affirming to them and the potential loss of that and how that feels for them. I know I've been talking a lot about how many things can be true at the same time. And I've been holding that sense of it is completely valid for someone to feel like they don't need the government to validate their identity. And if somebody is feeling like that is very gender affirming for them and validating, that is also valid and their feelings are also valid. And so wherever it is that you are, I hope you hear that it's okay. Your feelings are valid. Your identity is valid. And I hope you hear that you matter.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
All right, we're going to do this one next. We're going to do two more, and then we're going to wrap up because I got to bounce. But we're going to do this one first. We've seen her before. We've seen her way too much, I know, but let's just get it over with. Not seeking to lose weight. This reminds me, every time I see her face, this reminds me of the Seinfeld episode with the low-flow shower heads and all their hair, Kramer and Jerry, right? And they're trying to get the bootleg elephant, you know, from the circus. Remember, they're like in the guy's dark alley or back alley, black market shower heads. It looks like she has low flow shower pressure.
When I say that I'm not seeking to lose weight, I'm not saying that I don't seek to be healthy. Fat and unhealthy are not synonyms. It is because
Yeah, the unhealthy. Yeah, come on. Yeah, they are. You're not fat and healthy. They're synonyms. Very closely related. I'll tell you what, if you're unhealthy, you're not necessarily, this is like all fish live in the sea, but not everything that lives in the sea are fish. We got mammals and stuff too, right? So all fish live in the sea. Not everything in the sea are fish. Fat and unhealthy. If you're unhealthy, you're not necessarily fat. If you're fat, you are unhealthy.
it is because I want to be healthy that I don't seek to lose weight.
What the fuck are you talking about, man? What the fuck are you talking about?
Full retard, man.
I want to punch me. What the fuck?
Instead, I focus on actual health markers.
Like Twinkies? Like the Hostess end cap at the suit? What are you talking about? Actual health markers. Not how your body processes nutrients, not how you're wider than you are tall. You don't walk, you roll. Like, not that. Those aren't health markers.
Habits that have been shown to better health outcomes. Taking the focus off of weight loss has actually helped me to listen to my body.
And all she hears is, I'm hungry. You're listening to your body. Stop listening. Shh. Stop listening. La la la. Stop listening to your body. Stop listening. Your body is lying to you. You got a lemon. You got a lemon. All right. Your body's lying to you. Stop. Don't listen to don't stop listening to your body. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it right now.
And to pursue healthy habits for a reason more meaningful to me than simply being in a smaller body.
You're never going to. I don't like this being in a bigger body. I'm tired of that language. It's your body. It's the same fucking body. You can't move. You can't get rid of it. You have to improve the current one you have, or it's going to fail you. All right. What's the CW? It's not trigger warning. Cringe warning? What's CW? CW, fat phobia. I'm used to like TW, trigger warning. What does CW mean? I forget. I'm so done with these idiots. Fat phobia. It's called I'm not skinny. I don't know. Let's just get her face off the screen.
So I'm not skinny. I never have been.
Okay.
Even when I was in the best shape of my life and
Content
dancing
warning.
like
Thank you.
8+ hours a week, I was still at this weight. So this is the weight I'm meant to be at. But when I was younger, I was bullied for being fat. I used to get comments from my mom and my sister, usually their own shit they were projecting onto me. But at some point, I decided that if I wasn't willing to kill myself in order to be skinnier, I had to learn to accept my body. And I love my body now. But every so often, I fall prey to the mentality of skinny equals pretty. Like today, me and some of my coworkers were talking about weight. And I mentioned how I weigh around 210. And one of my coworkers said, really? You look like you weigh about 150. I haven't weighed 150 since I was like 15 years old. But I couldn't help the positive reaction I had to being told that I don't look as heavy as I am. And I know the size of my body has nothing to do with my worth as a person. I hate getting caught in that mentality.
The eyes, Chico. They never lie.
The eyes, Chico. They never lie.
There are no more shenanigans, no more tomfoolery, no more ballyhoo.
I'm tired of the ballyhoo. No more ballyhoo. Karen says, always the same cow nose ring. What is with the septum piercings? How did septum piercings become like the woke fat? Like, it's just, look at me. Please look at me. Give me attention. Maybe if I paint my hair green. Maybe if I go neon violet. Maybe if I go bright pink and I put a bolt through my nose, maybe people will look at me and think I'm different. It's a cry for help. Who the fuck thinks that looks good? There might be one situation where it looks good on someone. I mean, even like on the side, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if it ever looks good, to be honest. I'm playing devil's advocate. Maybe there's one time where it looks good. I don't know. I need proof, though. I don't believe it. Throwback and then swole card time. Oh, boy. Yep, we're watching this one. Yep, this is it. Jesus.
Unfortunately, it's probably not something that's covered in sex ed in the classroom. And
oh, you mean taking it in the ass is not covered in sex ed as a dude?
It's not supposed to be.
I mean, oh, you're not teaching gay sex in the classroom? Oh, no. Check his fucking hard drive.
If you're not expecting something, or if you just aren't comfortable going into sex or bottoming, you're going to get frustrated and you're just not going to have an enjoyable time.
Gonna have a bad time.
At Maze, we did develop a bottoming ebook, which you can find in the link in our bio.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
Feel free to check it out. It has some good information
bottoming
for a
ebook.
lot of guys that are just starting, or if you have questions about it.
That is the gayest thing I've ever heard.
What an edit, a bottoming ebook. See, I have the 7 Pillars ebook. You know, and I have ads and stuff. It's like, hey, if you're frustrated, are you happy not seeing results? Are you happy hitting plateaus? Do you like getting injured all the time? If not, you're probably missing one of these 7 foundational principles. Click the link below and check out the 7 Pillars ebook. It's 100% free, blah, blah. I don't have a bottoming ebook. I don't have a bottoming ebook. An ebook on how to get plowed by a dude. Oh, the butt sex ebook. A bottoming ebook. That's just too much. That's great. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? Hey, Tom. Yeah, Tom Holman. Hey, Tom. Tom, we got one for you. You're looking for those 300,000 kids, right? Yeah, he's probably got a couple. He's got a couple addresses. Yeah. This dude's handing out social security numbers over here. All right, gross. Let's move on with our lives. Fam, hashtag sick fucking gains for a chance to win today's swole card. You already dropped it in the comments. Let's go. Hopefully you have the rest of your day to forget that video and go make some sick fucking gains. Mangina. All right, today's winner. Oh, isn't this your first stream? I just landed on it too. This is a different post. Congratulations, Mr. Robert Ware 90. Congratulations. Everyone's going to think it's rigged. Literally just landed right on it. That's fantastic. Robert, send us an email to support@swolenormous.com. Swole card 3191, the subject, your mailing address, and the body of the email. Congratulations, monsieur. Fam, thanks for being here. Reminder, tomorrow we have overtime. We have overtime right after the stream. We'll get some driving while gaining. It's going to be a good time. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Go check out those other, I think Tulsi and Cash have their hearings right now or something like that. I'm going to go get my hair and my beard done, so I'm looking all fresh and sharp as America continues to conquer the world. So just some reminders going into Friday, going to the FEFcast on the weekend. Gulf of America, by the way. Anyone a fan? I love living in a state that borders the Gulf of America. So very excited about that. So anytime someone says something you don't like, just say Gulf of America. And they keep on talking, just say Gulf of America. Gulf of America. Gulf of America. Stop saying that. Gulf of America. Gulf of America. All right. If you want to join the greatest fam in the realm, go to SwoleNormousX.com. Also, check out all the merch over at papasolio.com. 20% off everything. All the links are in the description. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace, McGee's, deuce, magoose, your boy, Papa Swole. Oh.
Crazy flow, need a straight jacket. Cash flow, I'm a bank addict. 6 subs, had the bass smacking. 808, had the place clapping. 3 girls is enough for me, so I pull out like the stock crashing. Like an IPO, trying to purchase me. This a private sector, so you can't have it. Faking all that boom bapping. Who you think you is, boy? 90s want they sound back, so I give rap all these fake rappers as I take matters in my own hands. I don't need rapping, I don't need Zans. I don't need help, I'm a grown man. Now they can't left and they so mad, it's like
then yeah, I found that young king with my crown at 10 racks in the fanny pack, couple hundred in the Louis bag.
That's a bed that you made. That's a bed that you made. That's a bed that you laid. That's a bed that you laid. What kind of game is you playing? We go hard to the paint you. What the fuck is you saying? I only go where they pay you. What kind of game is you playing?
yeah, whoa, my shit is relevant, on topic, my melanin is popping. I'm taking skeletons on closets and making